Excellently done.
Hello everyone and welcome to another video here on my channel. This is another Marvel's Avengers video. This is my build guide. First look 1.0 video for Jane Foster, the Mighty Thor. This will be a bit of a different video for me because she's actually, believe it or not, a hybrid build. Yes, I said it, a hybrid build. Yeah, going for this at the moment. As I say, this is only a very early stage build and we've only had access to her for not even a week yet, so I probably haven't got all the best gear for her. There's probably a lot of gear out there with different things on that I could still get for her. Maybe her skills could get tweaked around a bit better than what they are, I don't know. But I just wanted to get this build out there, so if anybody's curious of ways to maybe play her, as I say, this will be build 1.0. So what I'll do is, I'll show you the gear I'm using, show you the artifacts, mention why I'm using them, and then we'll go through the skills, so specialty, mastery, show you what I'm using there, and we'll have a look at champion points, see which is the best way to go with those. And as I say, all of this is purely recommendation, but as you saw at the beginning of the video there, a little bit of gameplay, just giving you an introduction to how I play her and my play style with her. And I'll also finish this video out with a quick look at some more gameplay again, so that you guys can see a way of you being able to play Jane. Because although her range power attack is pretty good, and some of her melee is good, and neither one really we're feeling at the moment is more powerful enough to lean into. So we are leaning more into heroic, which is valor, a little bit of resilience, a bit of resolve. But the main focus, as I say, is valor, with a balance of the precision and melee. So let's jump into it. Major artifact, I'm currently using the Ring of Nibelung, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Purely because with this build, she's a heroic based build, so with the ring it just means due to a couple of pieces we've got that allow us to get orbs, we can be at a point where we can literally sometimes even just pick up one orb after using either our support, our assault or our ultimate, and be fully charged on it instantly. This one you can use the Norn Stone, a lot of builds do, a lot of meta builds typically do, for the damage increase, the critical damage increase, it does help. But for this build we're focusing on the ring purely for that high regeneration speed for our heroics. Minor artifacts, I'm currently using this one. That vibrating payload, I would prefer that if that was a payload that was being fired off damage rather than if I take damage, because I'm quite fortunate that I don't take a lot of damage at times, but there are occasions. And it does help, it just means you've got a chance to fire this off if you do take any damage. And the bottom perk's pretty useful too. Decrease damage, incoming damage, sorry, by 5% for any active status effects. Now I'm trying to find out with this, and if you know the answer already, please let me know in the comments below. Because it says 5% for every active status effect, does this mean if you have two status effects active on an enemy, for example, so Vibranium and Sonic, is that a 10% decrease in damage, or is it still a flat 5? This is what we're trying to discover. But I will come back to you on that as soon as I find out, or if you know, please let me know, I will be very much appreciative. So that is that minor artifact. We're also using this one, great for the recharge rate, for this whole heroic, pretty useful. Bottom perk is okay, would be nicer if the percentage chance was a bit higher, but this is what we're rolling with at the minute. Again, these artifacts may change as the build evolves, but it just helps with the stats that I've got, the proficiency, proficiency, resilience and resolve. Sorry about that. Yeah, they seem to just help me get those defensive numbers up and my proficiency at the moment. So that is the artifacts. This is my melee piece that I'm using. Pretty self-explanatory with the signature attack. Doing the Vibranium, this kind of ties in with the power attack. Even though it's the same status, they're both Vibranium for the range and the melee. The signature and the power attack, you are applying cryo with You're Assault Heroic, and Jane, like Thor, does deal shock damage inherently with your Warrior's Fury, your R2, or your Support Heroic, which is lightning obviously, which is shock. But I do particularly like the first perk on this piece, the fact that we could get an increase to our stun status. It gives us the chance to like combo, do that boost which triggers an explosion, which as you'll see in some of the gameplay that you saw at the beginning and you'll probably see at the end as well. Sometimes it can be a crucial little explosion that just helps you quite a bit. So yeah, I think this was just a random piece. Again, this may get better in time. It may be a raid piece, or there could be something else that I found from somewhere that's actually better, but we'll have to see. Range piece, this is actually a Discordant Sound raid piece from the normal raid, so the regular raid. Got the ranged power attacks for the middle perk, which is pretty good. So the bottom perk I like in this one, the fact that a melee crit attack has a chance to trigger a damage buff, which again we do play melee a little bit, so it's really easy to get damage buff. And then we've got the Sonic Conduit while we're sending that at the top perk. And that's for all with precision, might, resilience. Again, good for the resilience. That's what I'm trying to build on as much as I can. You may get a piece like this or very similar from the Corrupted Vibranium threat sector missions if you're playing in those at the moment. Might only drop as legendary, but you could get something similar. Or if not, if you're at least 150 with him and you do the regular raid, you've got a potential chance for this one to drop. You could probably do a Sonic version of this and then switch your gauntlets out to be excuse me, Vibranium as well, or something different, whatever you feel it works, but for this build this seems to work fine for me. Defensive piece, we're using this one. Defeating an enemy in unarmed attacks spreads the cryo, so again if you're throwing the hammer down, punching enemies or kicking them, they're classed as unarmed attacks. You're dealing the cryo damage, which is another negative status, that if you already hit them with the hammer and they've got the vibranium on them, you're either striking them with lightning to give them a negative, which is causing your battery effect, or you're giving them the cryo, which again is another negative stat but also slows them down. And the bottom perk is pretty good as well for a increased duration there. And then the top perk again is to do with All Mother. If you defeat enemies, chance to drop an intrinsic orb, which with this build really helps. Like I say, because sometimes we can have a ton of orbs on the ground and only need one. And as you've seen in the gameplay, we're pretty much full straight away. But this is the key piece. It's only purple, so it's only an epic at the moment. Got this from Roy, the vendor on the helicarrier. There is a chance apparently for this to drop from the priority mission, which at the time of recording this video I don't have it in legendary or exotic yet, but I'm going to be trying to do. Because obviously the stats then would be a bit higher and hopefully they drop with similar stats to these, which just gives me an overall boost to everything, which is pretty good. And the 3.2% increased stun damage from hammer attacks, so again we are using the hammer a lot, so we're getting more stun out of that. And increase the buff duration of Warrior's Fury, really useful as well. This is probably the key, I would say, if you're going for this particular build, this is the key piece for this build. If you want that intrinsic and shock. The shock increase and certainly the intrinsic to be able to get your heroics back pretty much infinitely. Along with the Ring of Nibelung, this is the best one. That's why I say, that's why we're using this, to help us potentially only have to pick up one orb. So that is pretty much it for the gear. Like I say, 1.0, there'll probably be a 1.2 next or 1.1, however I call the next build, or it might be just 2.0. But this is my first attempt at a very basic build, as I say, for Jane Foster. We've only had her since last Tuesday at the time of this video. It's now Sunday, but I just wanted to get something out there for you guys so that you can see what I'm using. I'm sure there are other builds out there as well who've probably got even better stuff than I have, but it's all about seeing what different people come up with, what works for them. So yeah, let's have a look at skills. We'll locked all her primary skills, which I'm sure you will all do once you get her to level 50. If you want to take a screenshot of this, this is what I'm using for the specialty. Kind of a case of playing around with some of these. You might find that others work better than others. But again, for this build with the shock, that shock we're trying to do, we're trying to shock everything and damage them really quick and easy with the battery effect. This is the best one to use here. Support, we're using this one. Pretty self-explanatory really if you have a look at them. Let you guys take a screenshot of that if you want them. Mastery tree, pretty much same again. Taking a few days playing around with different ones of these and trying to mix and match different ones, see which works and which doesn't, but with the build I've got at the moment, the way I've set up, this is what I feel is the best for her. Again, feel free to take a screenshot. And then the champion points. And just before we talk about champion points, if you are finding this video helpful, do give me a like. It just helps YouTube to push this video out to more eyes and hopefully get more views on the video, which, as you know, as a growing channel is very, very important. Because I do enjoy this sort of thing, I do enjoy making these videos. It's something new for me that I'm trying to get into, trying to learn things myself, get better at them, and hopefully help you guys to improve your characters or give you some pointers of ways to go. And also consider subscribing if you haven't already. Thank you to those who have, your support is very, very much appreciated. And again, like I said, we're only a small channel, but every little bit of support does help. So back to the build now. This is the champion points that I'm doing. I would say ignore this first column, because as we all know at the moment, especially new players may not be aware of this, but ignore all this, it's pretty much useless at first. I would say for this build, one of your big things is your crit damage, your charge rates, your innate crit damage, and your defense, and then health, perk chance, and then this one, and then pretty much if you want to go with this down here first, like line by line, do it whichever way you like. But I would also just say at first, if you're going to want to fill them out as I'm doing here, if you want to carry on down to 8 points, if you're in the time, like at the time of this video, of a quad XP event where you're getting 4 times XP and you've got an XP boost and you can get enough points in that time, yes, go down to number 8 in each one. If you haven't, if you're just playing as normal, just take them to this one, then worry about starting to boost them to here. And then the very bottom, because let's face it, it's outside of an XP event, 16 champion points are not very quick and easy to come by. So yeah, that is pretty much it. As I say, a very, very basic build. Probably not as meta as some builds could be, but those are the numbers I have. That's my stat sheet at the moment. That's how she's looking. Yes, I'd like her health to be a bit higher, but she's only 154. We're still at regular raid, yeah. Probably getting a few more pieces which I'll either use to boost gear that I've got, if the stats are perfect, or swap out to that new piece of gear, which will hopefully give me an increase all over, so increased defense especially. But I would definitely like to build her resilience up a touch more, maybe give her a bit more health. But overall, that is the way the build is running. So again, any questions, do ask me in the comments down below. I am on PlayStation 5, so if you are interested in ever running any OLTs or regular raid at the moment, do let me know. If you need help with an elite, I do have characters that are elite raid ready. Happy to help people get through their raids if I can. As the channel name is Andy's Game Gems, all one word, it's the same on PlayStation. So do shoot me a friend request and I will accept. So thanks for checking out this video guys, hope you found it useful. As I say now, I will sign out at that point and leave you with some more gameplay showing us the build. If you enjoyed it, once again, do give me a big thumbs up, just helps me get more eyes on the videos. The more views I get, the more more encouraging it is for me to show that I need to make build videos like this or content for you guys on Avengers, because you appreciate it, as I appreciate you, my community. So thank you once again, and I will see you all next time. Take it easy, guys. Bye for now.